Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos, and in today's video I'm going to share some tips, tricks, frequently asked questions about Season 4 gearing based on the first, 36 hours of the season. A lot of common questions from chat, but also there's at least one pretty powerful thing that I've and others have discovered that will be in this video. So let's start off with the sparks, because sparks are something Blizzard have just confirmed that you can get your first full spark this week, but every week afterwards, you're only going to be able to earn half a spark. Now, the way that works is from this person right here, you can get a quest that sends you to do a hunt, Dragon Maiden Keep, and a community feast. If you have Aiding the Accord, you need to abandon that quest, and then you'll be able to pick up this quest from this person here, Therazal. So you do that, and that'll award you a half spark. You'll also be able to get a half spark from just any kind of content, like from M+, from Raid. That's a catch-up spark. Basically, they've started us off with 1 week of catch-up sparks already. Now, starting next week, if you haven't done this, if you don't do this quest this week, next week you'll then have 2 catch-up spark or half sparks available. So you could just get your first full spark from content instead of ever doing that quest. Or if you earn your first full spark this week, then next week you'll only be able to get another half spark, and only from this quest. You won't be able to get a catch-up one from any sources, and it will continue at that pace of a half spark per week every week for the rest of the season, and you'll either be able to earn it from doing the quest, or if you've fallen behind, you'll be able to get half sparks from random drop content. Similarly, the Catalyst is open now, and I think it's 1 charge per week this time around rather than once every 2 weeks, so very nice. There is also the Draconic Mark of Mastery returning, which is Dragonflight Season 4 Hero. Dragonflight Season 4 Master is what it's called now. If you get Keystone Master, Heroic Vault, Heroic Amirsil, Heroic Aberrus, or Challenger 2, you will get an Awakened Mark of Mastery, which you can then use over in the inn. Let me show you where to then get a piece of tier, a Heroic piece of tier. Unlike in previous seasons, that Heroic piece of tier... Oops, this is the wrong... Wait, no, this is the right one. Yeah, this is the right one. This is where you spend your... Not those, but this is where you spend your Bullions whenever you get a second one of those, which will be next week. But then here is where you get you turn your Marks of Mastery into, and Tempo Stones into tier. Tempo Stones are the end boss tokens, and Marks of Mastery come from that achievement. If you're a PvE player, make sure you buy the left ones, because they're on the hero track. If you're a PvPer, the right ones are on the champion track, but they increase in eye level in PvP content. So that's the trade-off there. And then, yeah, Bullions, they just drop from the raid. They'll drop once per week. You can get 1 Bullion per week. They'll drop from a boss, one of the first few you kill each week from the raid. And you'll be able to use them to buy Awakened 1 out of 12 pieces, or you can upgrade your Legendary to 502. And depending on which ones you get right there, the ones from end bosses will start at 493 as well, but they'll be 1 out of 14, and you can bring them all the way up to higher than Mythic eye level, right? Like if they drop from Mythic. But of course, that's a lot of Crest, a lot of stuff to upgrade. Speaking of which, Crests. So let's talk about Crests. Crests, there is one weird, probably bug that exists right now. This may well be fixed at some point very soon, in which case I'll try and put a pinned comment that says, okay, they fixed this now. But as it stands right now, there is a goofy interaction where hero track gear still only costs Wyrms Crest to take up from 519 to 522. If you get a myth track piece that starts at 519, it'll cost you Aspect Crest to take it from 519 to 522. But for some reason, right now, hero track pieces do not cost Aspect Crests on any step along the way. So you can take them all the way, including the steps to 5 out of 6 and 6 out of 6 with your Wyrms Crest instead of your Aspect Crest. This is potentially quite powerful. This is absolutely worth doing if you are, interested in min-maxing, I guess. You're basically getting to spend your Wyrms Crest like their Aspect Crest on that upgrade. And potentially it even means that if you get a Myth Track 519, you can save some Aspect Crests by waiting until you get a Hero Track piece, upgrading that Hero Track piece all the way up to 522, and then that only costs you Wyrms Crest, right? And then because you have a 522, now you can upgrade your myth track piece from 519 to 522 without costing any crests. So yeah, it's a little... I suspect it's a bug, but it's certainly in the game right now. I haven't made too much use of it. For instance, I didn't do that on my shoulders. I could have. I could have done that, but I have upgraded some hero track pieces to 5 out of 6 and 6 out of 6. Not, necessarily to exploit, but just because I wanted to upgrade them, and it does cost Wyrms instead of aspect right now. That's something I think they might change, but at least as it stands right now, that is something you can get some value out of. So if you have some hero track pieces, send them on up to 522, and you're potentially saving some aspect crests by doing it before they change that. Or maybe it's intended this season. It would be weird, but maybe. It would be weird that they didn't change it for myth track items to also take Wyrms from on that 519 to 522 step, but maybe they'll make that change instead. Maybe they'll be like, okay, oopsie, but we want to keep this now. We don't want people who did it early to get an advantage, so we're making that change instead. That would maybe make more sense, but also be potentially harder on their end to implement. So yeah, that's one goofy thing that's going on with this patch. Other stuff is... there is a quest you can pick up from these people here that'll give you a couple extra Flightstones and I think some Whelpling's Crest, although I think it gave me last season's Whelpling's Crest when I did it. There have been a lot of sources of crests and also items that have randomly been dropping previous season stuff instead of Awakened Eye level stuff. So those have been getting fixed, but they may still be in the game depending on which one you do. The Timewalking chest has apparently been fixed, but initially it was giving people sometimes last season eye level stuff. So I think it's probably fixed by now. People have been saying it's fixed, but it may be the case that one or two of the hundreds of items you could get in your vault or in your box from Timewalking could be the wrong one. So yeah, speaking of Timewalking, there is, of course, this quest to defeat 5 Timewalking raid bosses or dungeons. This gives you a 493 cache for Awakened Treasures. If you can do Timewalking Black Temple, you can get a quest to do that, and you can complete that quest and this quest at the same time, and that raid quest will actually give you hero track gear. That will give you gear on the like 506 hero track gear. Now apparently that gear is not going in the Catalyst for some reason, but this gear is, the 493 here. So once again, the season has got quite a lot of bugs like that, so enjoy. There is also LFR. LFR is open right now. All the wings for Vault the Incarnates are open and awakened, and the eye level requirement to queue for this is 463, which is quite good. Once you do LFR, if you're on a character that you can get up to 463 and queue LFR, you'll also earn Whelpling's Crest. And once again, the Enchanted Whelpling's Crest is one of the best kept secrets of this game. If you spend 30 Whelpling's Crest, I think, you can buy this Nascent Crest, and then you can crafting work order a Enchanted Whelpling's Crest, and then you can use this with the blue recipes, right? Let's see, if we wanted a plate helmet, not the Primal Molten Helm, that's the Spark Craft, but the Explorer's Expert Helm, and you put the Enchanted Whelpling's Crest here, and you can get a 486 helmet that way. Now, it's not catalyzable or anything, but you can get basically every slot 486 that way. So if you have a new character or a low power character, doing stuff like Timewalking, Mythic Zero, Heroic Dungeon, Outdoor World content can give up to 480 pieces as well. Do a bunch of that until you're 463, then you could queue for LFR, and then you queue for LFR, you get a bunch of Whelpling's Crests, and then you use those Whelpling's Crests to make Enchanted Whelpling's Crests and fill out whatever low eye level slots you have left with 486 pieces. Bang, you are basically caught up to Mythic eye level from last tier and ready to start, blasting. There is also Dawn of the Infinite hard mode. Dawn of the Infinite hard mode is quite tough. It's tuned to be something like, it feels like a plus 10 or so in terms of boss health and damage, but it is untimed. You don't need to never die like you did if you were doing a hard mode run in the past, right? In the past, if you were doing a hard mode run, I guess it wasn't necessarily a hard mode run, but like an immortal run or whatever. That may still be in the game, but that's not what you don't need to do that for the good gear that comes out of Dawn of the Infinite hard mode. Dawn of the Infinite hard mode is very easy to turn on. You just have to talk to the first person who talks to the NPC to start the Dawn of the Infinite run, you just choose the option that says begin hard mode instead of begin Dawn of the Infinite. Now, I might be saved on this character. Let me see. I don't think I am, actually. Yeah. So when you start here, you just walk in, and you wait for Chromie and Nozdormu to do their talk, and then you can just click begin hard mode instead of the regular one. It makes it a lot harder. There's a couple extra mechanics on the bosses, but a lot more health and damage. It makes them basically plus 10. But instead of dropping 493 champion 1 out of 8 gear, they actually drop 506 or 509 hero 2 out of 6 gear. So it's crazy good, Dawn of the Infinite hard mode if you can. It's a source of Double Time, Nick of Time, Mirror of Entwined Fates, Prophetic Stone Scales, Iridol. If any of those would be good for you on the hero track, congratulations. You now need to farm Dawn of the Infinite M0 hard mode until you get that item. Congrats, enjoy, have fun. And yeah, you just get in here and you click begin hard mode, and note that it is quite tough. Again, plus 10-ish level key right now, I would say. But it's untimed, unlimited attempts, respec if you want between bosses and trash, all that stuff. So, very good items available from that. Not the easiest content right now, but potentially something you want to start doing if you are somebody like a rogue who needs that Nick of Time. And yeah, as soon as I went to there, one of the rogues in my guild just whispered me, "Are you in a hard mode?" Should apply to our group if not saved. Yeah, they're looking for people to run that right now. So yeah, that's it's a high demand activity for people in the know, is getting their Dawn of the Infinite done if you are one of the specs that, for instance, wants a Nick of Time. All right. The other stuff is, yeah, of course, as I mentioned, the Outdoor World content has been buffed. This week it's hunts, Dragonbane Keep, but also like random other sources of Outdoor World stuff too are giving 480 gear. But starting next week, it's going to be like Time Rifts. I think it's going to be the Obsidian Citadel as well. And then the week after that, when it's a Mirdrasil week, instead it's going to be Emerald Dream and all of Emerald Dream stuff, the Dream Surges. Those are going to be empowered. Notably, that means the world bosses as well. So right now there's a world boss in the Primalist Future. That'll give you champion track gear if you are lucky enough to get loot from it. Next week, that'll be the Zeralek Cavern world boss. The week after that, it'll be the Emerald Dream one. And once all 3 raids are awakened, which is either in 3 or 6 weeks, I think probably 6, then all of those world bosses will drop champion track gear. It'll be giga easy to, fresh start a character and just farm some world boss gear if you want those. Final note is tier. Every class has a tier set from this season that is based on what the community voted for that class and for that spec. For instance, for Blood DK, our Season 2 set bonus won, although our Season 3 appearance won, because they voted appearance and bonuses separately. You can wear 2-piece. That works. I'm, for instance, wearing my last 2-piece and my new 2-piece. That does work. You can also wear... You can't wear 2-piece if you voted for... If your class voted for their Season 3 set bonus. In fact, it's kind of worse than it looks because they're different sets still. So if you are that class and you put on 2 of your new tier pieces and 2 of your old tier pieces, you'll only have 2-piece instead of 4-piece, even though they're all supposedly contributing to the same bonus, because I guess they didn't want to make it so that those classes had an advantage, but it turns out that because they did that, those classes for these couple weeks have a disadvantage instead, and the rest, like those of us that voted for a Season 2 set bonus, can now do 2-piece, which I actually think I'm going to keep on Blood DK for a while, because the old 2-piece is a lot of damage, so I don't know if I want to upgrade out of that kind of ever. But anyways, that is, I think, all the stuff that I have written down. The way it works is that over the first couple days of a patch, I just open up a notepad, and every time I think of something to go in this video, I write it down in that notepad. Hopefully something in here was useful to you. I'll continue to make these videos as long as people continue to find them useful at the start of a new season. Let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong about anything that I've said here, if there's something I didn't mention that you think is worth adding along, the same lines as the stuff discussed in this video. And of course, if Blizzard fixes or changes anything that was mentioned in this video, mention it in the comments below, but I'll also try and pin a comment that has any updates. So check down in the comments before relying on anything in this video, as things may have changed. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope it helped. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.